Greetings. These are very expensive Magic the Gathering cards. Pieces of cardboards which players and collectors and quite frankly the marketplace create value for solely based on a few things like their power level, their collectability, or their impact on the game. This of course is a simplification. In this video we will discuss the recent banning of key cards in Magic the Gathering's Commander format, including Dockside Extortionist, Mana Crypt and Jeweled Lotus. Of course, also Nadu, well, who can get fucked all the way off anyways because no one cares about them. This video will be a mix of frustration and reflections on the future of Commander Magic, as well as Magic as a whole. And stay until the end because I have some wild conspiracy theories about this banning you will want to hear about. If you like Magic the Gathering content, if you like to stay up to date, consider subscribing to this channel. It would really help me out. Thanks so much. So let's get into it. Let's roll the intro and let's get into why we're doing this. So, the Rules Committee for Commander just today announced the banning of a few cards, namely Dockside Extortionist, Mana Crypt, Jeweled Lotus and Nadu. We are going to talk about 3 cards in specific, the Extortionist, Mana Crypt and Jeweled Lotus, because no one cares about Nadu, right? Everyone wanted him to be gone. This will be a talking head video. I will just have those cards laying around to make a point. And have something to show for so you don't run away in the first seconds. Number 1, Dockside Extortionist. The Rules Committee states that, and I quote, I will put it in here, Dockside Extortionist. Dockside isn't normally quite as explosive in the early game as the other two cards, but it can still go mana positive on turn 2 and start generating substantial treasures after that. It's been on the border for years. And we've shied away from acting in the past because the card has scaled well with the power level of the table. But it's a frequent contributor to the more egregious snowballing starts. Alright. Cool. In my opinion, Dockside Extortionist has long been a contentious card in Commander, and I acknowledge the power level it has, and it often creates like feels bad moments for the community. But really? In casual games, I think it's almost always excluded by rule 0, which is, hey, the rules of the table and don't play this card, guys. The outright ban is in my opinion completely unnecessary since players can regulate its use in their groups anyways. And for competitive Commander specifically, Dockside I think is vital to counter some of the other decks, and it's just disrupting many high-powered strategies in the format. The second card would be Mana Crypt. The Mana Crypt is now banned. The Rules Committee states as following. Mana Crypt, coming down for no mana on turn 1. It's quite possible to have the explosive start of Mana Crypt into a Signet or Talisman, land and another Signet, leaving that player untapping 5 mana on turn 2. In games going over 12 turns, the accumulated threat of the damage from Mana Crypt provides a reasonable counterbalance for its explosive effect. But when you are snowballing to a turn 6 to 8 win, it's a meaningless drawback. To be honest, the banning of Mana Crypt, as I have my notes here, is the one surprising me the most, since it was recently featured as a chase card in Lost Caverns of Excellence, collector boosters, and pretty much the only reason why you wanted to buy them, because this is the big card of the set that you wanted, right? Remember what I stated in the intro? These are pieces of cardboard that we assign value to. A valuable Magic card is just a card that is the chase card of the set. Remember this one? The One Ring from Lord of the Rings. only super valuable now because it's a super nice chase card. Yeah, these babies, raised foils in the recent release. It's just there. Ristic Study from Wilds of Eldraine in the confetti foil. Just a chase card. Just super valuable because rare. Same with all of these cards on my table. They're valuable because they are rare. And that's what creates the bigger value. The reason why we as consumers and collectors buy those expensive booster packs in the first place. While Mana Crypt is very powerful, its damage drawback, at least I feel like this, makes it a very balanced and risk-reward card, making the ban feel super unjustified. The ban is also severely impacting the financial value of the card, which had for a long time been a staple in Commander, and it's just quite frankly stupid. For Jeweled Lotus, the committee states, Jeweled Lotus, another card that can give you 5 mana on turn 2. Jeweled Lotus does it without even needing a good hand. Though you're restricted in what you can do with the mana, 4 and 5 mana commanders can pack a significant punch nowadays, often drawing cards to make up for the one-shot mana. And defensive abilities such as Ward can't be interacted with that early in the game. Little background for you, I will put the card up. Jeweled Lotus can only be used to cast a commander. I am so disappointed in this ban I can't even begin to tell you, because particularly I was looking into buying the textured foil version of Jeweled Lotus from Commander Masters, and also similarly to Mana Crypt, Jeweled Lotus was used to push several products, namely Commander Legends and Commander Masters, and received several premium reprints like the textured foil version I just talked about, and it's just ridiculous. The sudden ban significantly devalues these premium versions, hurting both collectors and stores immensely. While I understand its power in accelerating commander casting, I would argue being able to solely cast your commander a bit earlier does not justify a ban at all. Because, fun fact, Sol Ring does exactly the same, and yet the Rules Committee specifically points out in their article that they're not banning it as it's, and I quote, a staple of the commander format. Well, almost like Jeweled Lotus, which was only legal to play in this very same format, which by definition makes it a staple of the format. Do I like to play against any of these? Do I like to play against Jeweled Lotus? No. Who does? Of course not. If possible, I always argue to rule zero them out. That's the beauty of commander games, after all. The main issue for me with these bans is the impact they have on collectors and local game stores. Like it or not, financial value, as indicated by the cards on my table, is a part of Magic the Gathering and of any TCG on the planet, just as much as game pieces and playables. Dockside, Extortionist, Mana Crypt, and Jeweled Lotus were highly valuable cards, and the bans have essentially destroyed their value, and this is for me a huge betrayal in collectors who invested in these cards and all the stores that stocked up on sealed products that contain them, and also on the product on the cards themselves in their shelves. Wizards of the Coast, in my opinion, should have implemented a different system. Like, there's no way you should just flat out ban a card from 0 to 60 instantly. Like, why would you do this? Why would you not create, let's say, a watch list and say, hey guys, here's cards that are super powerful that we are checking, like, and maybe they get banned, wink wink, who knows? But it's definitely, a warning system for anyone who invested in these cardboards in order to not just have them be worthless from one second to the next. The handling of premium products is my biggest point of criticism as well. I would like to point out that Wizards of the Coast regularly promotes expensive collector items, like these babies, which I plan to open this week, but fuck that. So Wizards of the Coast is promoting collector items at horrendous price points by now, because back when I was young, like cardboard boxes of Magic cards cost maybe $60-$70 and not 300 plus. And yeah, items like Lost Caverns of Ixalan's and Commander Masters using cards like Mana Crypt and Jeweled Lotus are the key selling points. When these cards are suddenly banned, it devalues the products Wizards of the Coast is marketing as high-end investments and completely undermines consumer confidence. I would go this far and I would state that this ban cost consumers and stores tens of millions of dollars. This is so much investment in sealed product and the actual cards itself that, yeah, it's insane how much money has been lost within an instant. And keeping this in mind, why would any player, why would any collector continue to invest in premium Magic products? Specifically when Wizards of the Coast is pushing towards Magic being a collectible TCG now. Why would you spend the money for a box like this to chase a card? In this one, I think it's like the textured foils, whatever, the fractured foils. If the card themselves could be worth absolutely nothing because they're just banned from one instant to the next. Why would you allow something like this to happen, Wizards? Why? From a competitive EDH perspective, the bans are disruptive but understandable. And I'm saying this for competitive Commander. Dockside Extortionist, Jeweled Lotus are staple in high-powered games, and I think their absence will just shift the format. And I can only speculate that the Rules Committee might be attempting to force a separation between casual Commander and competitive EDH as a move that they believe could further divide. Like, yeah. Honestly, I think it'll divide the community just like crazy. Whatever is going on, the Rule 0 should be sufficient to handle this problematic card issue with Dockside, Extortionist, Mana Crypt, or Jeweled Lotus. Through communication, play groups can decide which cards to include or exclude, making formal bans, in my opinion, quite frankly, unnecessary. The bans remove player agency, and enforcing these bans in casual groups will just create friction, because you're sitting at a table when, you know, at some point you were just discussing, hey, can we do this? Can we not do this? Yeah, cool. Yeah, no. There will always be the guy now that wants to play Mana Crypt, and then usually everyone was fine with it. By now you have someone sitting at your table being like, nah, it's banned, so you can't play it even if you wanted to. It just creates frictions, and it's completely unnecessary for this format. Like, honestly, it's just garbage. In the end, all of this creates tension between Magic as a collectible TCG and as the game for casual play. While some players focus on the gameplay aspect, I think that the collectible side of Magic is integral to the game's longevity. I honestly think that it was a good move to create collector boosters. It was a good move to try to push Magic as a collectible product. However, banning high value cards without warning hurts collectors and hurts investors, making them questioning, why should they even do this? Why should I buy these new cards that seemingly replace the reserved list every time now, and are pushing out the reserved list products like crazy because these are the hottest new thing? Why would I buy them if Wizards of the Coast just can decide and the committee can just decide to ban them and they're worth nothing anymore? Why would I have confidence in an investment that will potentially not retain any value? Who the hell wants to buy a $250, $300 box and end up with consistent loss every time because the cards that are being arbitrarily banned go to $0 in the end? It just doesn't make sense, Wizards. I'm sorry, it's just a shit thing. Anyways, let's get to the fun part, the conspiracy portion. Was there some insider trading or leaked information going on? I think it's pure speculation, but on my end, it's a fact that prices for cards like Jeweled Lotus and Dockside Extortionist began dropping months before this ban was announced, suggesting that some people definitely knew what was going on and were selling their cards at higher prices, which, yeah, understandably so. If you can profit from this, go for it, man. Like, yeah, it's a fucked system, but yeah. Now, the big elephant in the room is obviously the Mystery Booster 2 Festival in a Box secret layer. The secret layer contains 2 boosters from the sets driven by chase cards, which are banned now. Lost Caverns of Ixalan collector booster could contain the Mana Crypt, and Commander Masters collector booster, which could contain Jeweled Lotus in both its full art, its regular art, and its, I think, textured foil. One cannot start to wonder, but, you know, thinking if there was any connection to this. But man, like, how bad would it feel that you just spent $300 on a product? You're getting this, you're opening your collector boosters because, hey, they're valuable boosters, yada yada. And then you pull one of these chase cards and it's worth nothing anymore because it was banned in the meantime. This is a fucking nightmare for anyone, and I don't wish it to anyone because it's crazy. I want to conclude this video by reiterating my disappointment in the bans, and particularly in how they were implemented. I think the Commander format should prioritize player discussions and Rule Zero over just flat out banning cards for the format. Were there legitimate reasons to ban them? Yeah, absolutely. We don't have to talk about it. No one wants to play against them, at least no one I know, but that's what Rule Zero is for. But the way it was done is what sparks my complete distrust towards a company which wants us as players to invest our hard-earned income on premium products like collector boosters, secret layers, or just simply cards that are high value. It's just crazy to think about that they want my money for a collector booster with chase cards in them that could go to 0 at an instant because they just decided they're banned. The decision to ban key collector cards feels like a betrayal to the whole collector community, to store owners, which also largely base their income on stuff like this, and I fear it will have lasting repercussions on the Magic community. Guys, this is a ban that is for the Magic history books, because I think this will be one that everyone will look back on and be like, yeah, remember this? That was crazy and they hurt themselves a lot. Thank you very much for watching my video. If you like Magic the Gathering content, please consider subscribing, give it a like, and let me know what you think about this ban. Alright, see you in the next one, where I will hopefully try to crack open one of these collector boosters. Have a good day. Bye bye.